hips are going to come out to the side a little bit more. Again, on this scenario, when we're bridging, it's a good idea to put your toes down. So when we back heel, the toes go down and the heels go down. When your toes go down first, it's going to give you guys the ability to put your heels much tighter to your hips. If I demonstrate where I can bring my feet to my butt, it's pretty close. Okay, that my right foot is pretty close to my hip. But if I put my toes down first and then put my feet down, they're connected right now. Now, we don't always need to connect them like that, but it's a good trick, especially when we're in the heat of the moment and we need to use some speed. It's a good trick to go toes, heel. And then we bridge up into him, and then we lift our elbows up off of our platform. I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. So it goes, we create space. I'm going to talk about creating space in 1 minute. Our left knee will replace our left elbow. When the left knee replaces the left elbow, we will begin to dominate the near hip now with my left hand. And I will continue to drive away with my left hand. This is where the frame of the neck is going to become critical. So now my right hand will come out and go to the shoulder. It stayed in the armpit until I said, oh, there goes my knee. My knee blocks the far hip. My left hand gets the near hip. And now my right hand comes out and blocks the shoulder. As I continue to drive my knee through, I'll make sure that the knee, my left knee now dominates where my hand was again. And then my left arm now, because the hips are controlled with my knee, my left arm can begin to circle in front of Nick's cross-face arm. So now we can start to look to kill this cross-face arm. With our left leg, I want to do something very specific with my left leg. I want it to drop into the middle. And if I'm looking for close guard, I generally don't want to have my left leg hanging on his thigh. The easiest way to do that is to point your knee to the ceiling and extend your hip. I'm going to extend my hip. It's going to flatten me out when I point my left knee to the ceiling. And then my my left foot will find the floor. Because as my knee goes to the ceiling and I extend my hip, it's going to flatten me out and it'll change the angle of my left leg. And now my left leg made it to the floor, okay? Once the left leg is on the floor, I can use the floor to hip escape outward on my side, and then I can circle my foot out, okay? When we're training and your intention is to go to close guard, we need a circular motion, because if I try to just withdraw my leg, we're gonna have to assume that he is gonna clamp his elbows down and I'm gonna run into his armpit. So it'll be difficult to pull the leg out. It won't be difficult to circle the leg out. And then we can lock up our close guard, okay? I'm gonna do it on the opposite side just for argument's sake. Now, how do we create the space that we need to bring our knee into the elbow? This is very important. When we're bridging, we'll assume that Nick is on this side of my body. When I'm bridging into him, it's a bridge, and then the elbow will lift off of my hip. So the bridge is 2 steps. It's a wave. It's a bridge, and then it's a drop. When we get to the top of our bridge, that's when the elbow is going to spring off of our hip. Okay, we're going to spring. It springs off as we drop, and then the knee comes in. If you guys can think about, the elbows not pushing your training partner away. I'm not going to push Nick away from me with my elbows. There's such a small movement in my elbows. What you're going to do is you're going to more hold him in the air, or hold him up where he was. So your bridge is going to come up. The elbows then come away from your hip at the top of the bridge, but they're only coming away from your hip a very small amount. They can't really come away from your hip and stay strong very far. I'm not straightening my arms. We're just using our elbows. So when they come away from your hip and you drop, that's when the space really opens up. If you can imagine, I hold Nick in the air and then I drop my hips. And I don't mean hold him up, this whole body, but I hold his hip where it is with my elbow and then I drop out from underneath. That's when that space happens. So you'll see if this elbow is on the bottom hip, when we bridge into our training partner, there goes my hip bridge. Now my elbows activate. He doesn't go very far. He doesn't go far, but then when I drop, it makes the space for my knee to go. It's very small movement. So he's gonna stay pretty tight on me, and we'll do one at relative speed. It's very small, okay? Again, one more time, relative speed. Very small, the movement, okay? So that wave of bridge, elbows up, drop, and then the knee comes in and gets us that space to bring our knee in there. Now, as I mentioned, when we bring the knee in, okay, we'll look at the progression of our arms again. So I got the knee in. The knee has dominated the hip that I had my elbow. Now it's all about the near hip and the shoulder, okay? So we get the near hip dominated, and then my knee replaces my hand on the near hip. I've got the frame, so that way he cannot drive into my forearm. That's where this left hand came out from the armpit, went onto the shoulder. And then as we face our knee to the ceiling and extend our hip, that's when this is a good idea. To get your frames into this crossface is an exceptional idea, because it's gonna get us out of trouble if I can't get my right foot into the middle. For now, we'll say, hey, I extended my hip, he's not really moving much, and I was able to circle my right foot to the middle. I want closed guard, so I'm gonna continue to drive my hip away from Nick, and then circle my leg to safety, and then I'll make sure, of course, he'll drive in and we get to the closed guard. So an elbow escape to closed guard. It is a great tool, especially if you're very, very focused on getting to the closed guard. The next couple of videos, we're gonna look at what happens if your foot cannot get to the closed guard. He doesn't let it get there. So we'll take a look at that on the next set of videos. Okay, now there's going to be times where we're just not able to get to the closed guard. We tried our best. We elbow escaped. We got our right knee in this case, my right knee. And then the right foot may make it to the middle, or it may not. But generally, we get half guard when our training partner or opponent begins to move to try to repass the guard. It can open up space for us to clamp the leg in a half guard. Unless I just really enjoy half guard. It might be because I just want to go to half guard rather than closed guard. When we hit our escape and I was able to get that near knee in. When the left hand comes out, we've talked about the left hand coming out to the shoulder. This is why it's so important that I went from bottom hip, this one, to the top hip, this one. My right hip, my right hand is is winning the top hip. And really it's because as Nick starts to try to repass my guard, he may separate the arms, he may start using the arms on the legs again, and he may start to drive in and look to repass. That's why this forward hip becomes so important, because it stops that or slows that movement down. As soon as the drive starts to come forward from Nick, it begins to make that far leg light. And you saw my right knee, when I know I want to go to half guard, or he begins moving and I don't want to try to risk getting all the way to the closed guard, my right knee drops down into the middle and it becomes a wedge between his legs, okay? The left leg begins scooping the legs, all right? Now we're able to use our right knee coupled with my left leg and to begin somewhat of a pinch, okay? Right knee's wedged in the middle, left leg is already over the top. It lets me now pull the leg into the middle and get a half guard scenario. If you're a fan of scorpions or anything like that, this is the time to do it, because